Today's episode is brought to you by GetSkinnyOnline.com, your source of medically guided GLP-1 weight loss services online. You'll find popular peptides like semaglutide and tirzepatide in injectable, liquid, and pill forms to make your weight loss journey easy. Go to GetSkinnyOnline.com or check the show notes for the link. Now, here's your hosts.
I want to describe a moment, and I think a lot of women listening are going to feel seen. You're 46. You haven't changed a thing. Same food, same workouts, same everything you've done for 15 years. And your body has started behaving like a stranger.
And the pants. It's always the pants. Nothing on the scale has dramatically changed, but suddenly everything fits differently. And it's all in your middle.
And then you go to a doctor, or worse, you go to the internet, and somebody tells you to just eat less and move more, which you're already doing. More than you did at 30, actually.
So today we're doing perimenopause and menopause weight loss. What's actually happening in your body, why the old rules stopped working, and what genuinely helps. And I want to say up front, this is not in your head, and it is not a willpower problem.
Standard reminder, educational content, not medical advice. Talk to your doctor and ideally one who takes menopause seriously.
So let's start with the timeline, because most women are surprised by it. Perimenopause can start in your late 30s or early 40s and last up to a decade before menopause officially arrives.
A decade. So if you're 44 and confused about what's happening to your body, you may be 4 or 5 years into a transition nobody told you had started.
And during that window, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone don't just decline politely, they fluctuate wildly, which is honestly harder to deal with than a steady decline because you can't find your footing.
Okay, so what does that actually do? Let's go through the mechanisms, because when you understand these, everything stops feeling random.
First, fat redistribution. As estrogen drops, your body changes where it stores fat. It moves from your hips and thighs toward your abdomen. And critically, more of it becomes visceral fat, the kind that wraps around your organs rather than sitting under your skin.
Which matters because visceral fat is the metabolically dangerous kind. It's the one linked to cardiovascular and metabolic risk. So this isn't cosmetic. Some research suggests visceral fat can increase substantially across the menopause transition.
Second, insulin sensitivity drops. Your body gets better at storing fat and worse at burning it, which is why carbs that never bothered you before suddenly seem to go straight to your midsection. That's a real mechanism, not a perception.
Third, and this is the one this show cares most about, muscle loss. Women can lose somewhere in the range of 3 to 8% of muscle per decade, starting in their 30s, and it accelerates through the menopause transition.
And muscle is metabolically active tissue. Less muscle means a lower resting metabolic rate, which means you burn fewer calories doing absolutely nothing. Research on postmenopausal women has found meaningful drops in fat oxidation and roughly a couple hundred fewer calories burned per day over 24 hours.
So think about what that means. You didn't start eating more. Your body started burning less. The math changed underneath you while you were doing everything the same.
Fourth, cortisol becomes more reactive. Stress hormones run hotter, and cortisol pushes fat storage toward the belly and disrupts sleep and hunger cues.
And fifth, sleep falls apart. Hot flashes, night sweats, waking at 3 a.m. for no reason, and poor sleep independently increases appetite, cravings, and insulin resistance.
So look at the stack. 5 mechanisms, all pushing the same direction all at once, none of them under your conscious control. And then someone tells you to try harder.
Which brings us to the myth I want to kill today. Myth 1. If it's not working, eat less and train harder.
This is the single worst advice for this stage, and it's the most common. Cutting calories harder while you're already losing muscle accelerates the muscle loss, which lowers your metabolism further, which makes the next attempt harder. And more cardio raises cortisol, which is already elevated.
So the thing that worked at 30 doesn't just fail at 48. It can actively make things worse. That's why women describe getting stuck in a spiral.
Quick reminder that today's episode is brought to you by GetSkinnyOnline.com, your source of medically guided GLP-1 weight loss services online. You'll find popular peptides like semaglutide and tirzepatide in injectable, liquid, and pill forms to make your weight loss journey easy. Go to GetSkinnyOnline.com or check the show notes for the link. Now, back to the show.
Myth 2. This is inevitable and there's nothing to be done.
Absolutely false, and here's the evidence. A meta-analysis of over 100 randomized controlled trials in nearly 6,000 postmenopausal women found that exercise training significantly reduced visceral fat. and resistance training specifically showed reductions in visceral fat, subcutaneous abdominal fat, and total abdominal fat.
Which is remarkable because resistance training addresses the actual mechanism. It fights sarcopenia, which protects your resting metabolic rate and improves insulin sensitivity. Those are two of the core drivers of the whole problem.
And there's a threshold in that research worth knowing. 2 or more sessions per week were required to get a significant effect on visceral fat. So 2 is the minimum dose that actually does something.
Myth 3. Ab workouts will fix menopause belly.
They won't. You can't spot reduce visceral fat, and crunches don't touch the hormonal mechanism. Whole body strength work does.
Okay, so what actually helps? Let's be practical.
Number 1, resistance training, at least twice a week, whole body. This is the highest leverage thing on the list, and it's not close. Bands at home count, body weight counts. It doesn't require a gym you'll feel weird in.
Number 2, protein. More than you think, and at every meal. It supports muscle preservation and it keeps you full, which helps with the appetite changes.
Number 3, sleep and stress. And I know that sounds soft next to the other 2, but they're upstream of everything. If you're sleeping 5 hours and running on cortisol, the nutrition and training work fights an uphill battle.
Number 4, food quality over food restriction. Fiber-rich plants for blood sugar stability. The Mediterranean pattern shows up repeatedly as a useful template here, not because it's magic, but because it's sustainable and it hits protein, fiber, and healthy fats without turning eating into a punishment.
And number 5, get the full picture evaluated, which means hormones, thyroid, blood work. If you're treating this as purely a weight problem when part of it is a hormonal transition, you're solving the wrong equation.
And that includes having an honest conversation about the tools available. Hormone therapy is a real option for some women and worth discussing with a knowledgeable clinician. So are GLP-1 medications, which we've covered in detail in other episodes.
With the caveat we always give, if you use a GLP-1 during this stage, the muscle protection isn't optional. You're already fighting accelerated muscle loss from the hormonal transition. Add rapid weight loss without protein and strength training, and you can end up lighter with a worse metabolism than you started with.
Which brings us to our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Get Skinny Online. They connect you with U.S. licensed doctors who look at your actual health history and goals and determine whether medically guided weight loss is appropriate for you, with ongoing supervision.
And if you're in this transition, having a clinician who accounts for what's actually happening hormonally, rather than handing you a generic plan, is the whole ballgame. You can learn more at getskinnyonline.com.
3 takeaways. Number 1, this is real. 5 mechanisms are working against you at once. Estrogen-driven fat redistribution toward visceral fat, dropping insulin sensitivity, accelerating muscle loss, reactive cortisol, and disrupted sleep. Your body changed the math. You didn't get lazy.
Number 2, the old playbook makes it worse. Eating less and doing more cardio while you're losing muscle and running high cortisol accelerates the exact problems you're trying to solve.
Number 3, resistance training is the most evidence-supported intervention we have here, and the threshold from the research is at least 2 sessions a week. It works because it addresses the mechanism, not the symptom.
Your action step this week, 2 strength sessions, on the calendar as appointments, 20 minutes each, whole body, not abs. If you're brand new to this, that's bodyweight squats, a push-up against a counter, and a row with a band. That's a session.
2 days, 20 minutes. That's the dose the research supports, and it's the highest return thing you can do for your body in this decade.
And please, share this with a friend who's been quietly blaming herself for the last 3 years. That's the whole reason we made it.
Comment and tell us what surprised you most in your own transition. We read everything, and women's stories in these comments help other women more than we ever could. Subscribe if you're new. Science-backed health after 40. No fads. 1 action step every week. It's not too late. It's just different. See you next time.
Thanks for listening. Today's episode was brought to you by GetSkinnyOnline.com, your source for medically guided GLP-1 weight loss services. They have popular peptides like semaglutide and tirzepatide in injectable, liquid, and pill forms to make your weight loss journey easy. Go to GetSkinnyOnline.com or check the show notes for the link. See you next time.